The following information was obtained from historical records, eyewitness accounts and other information sources. Since I was not there at the time to verify it, it may or may not be correct. When you start to unlock some of the history of this track, I wish I could go back in time to witness it. Lions Drag Strip was located in the Wilmington district of Los Angeles, California. It opened in 1955, but the story of the raceway actually started much earlier. With street racing becoming a major concern in the area, much of the credit for founding the Lions Drag Strip goes to Long Beach Judge Fred Miller. Judge Miller became concerned about the problems area street racing was causing and the family tragedy that was resulting from it. He took it upon himself to contact service clubs and form a group to build a drag strip. Meetings to discuss obtaining a location for the drag strip brought together then Mayor Norris Polson, Councilman Gibson, newscaster George Putnam, and John Chadwick. John Chadwick was the former president of the Los Angeles Harbor Commission and was instrumental in acquiring the commission-owned former railroad yard that was to become Lions Drag Strip. Of the service clubs contacted, only the Lions clubs volunteered to help raise the funding for the track. A group of Harbor area Lions clubs organized a corporation and were able to secure a loan of $45,000. With the funding in place, the LA Harbor Commission then agreed to lease an unused railroad switching yard, down by the harbor, to the Lions Club on a 30-day revocable basis. Meaning the lease could be canceled at any time with a 30-day notice. By the time the track was complete, it was apparent that the job could have used twice the $45,000 they started with, but they still managed to open the gates on the target date of October 9, 1955. On opening day, more than 400 cars showed up, but 25% were found to be unsafe with mainly tire issues and not allowed to run. The facility was equipped to handle 2,500 spectators, but 15,000 showed up that day. The Lions Drag Strip operated every Sunday for about 2 years. The opening day attendance of 15,000 people was not duplicated and the track struggled. Drag Strip manager Mickey Thompson then came up with the idea for Saturday, night racing. He had lights installed and this idea relaunched the racetrack. Attendance boomed and within 2 years all outstanding loans were paid off. The 9 Harbor area Lions clubs began to see profits from the track. All the profits from the drag strip's operation were directed to worthy charities. Helping the Blind, Boys Clubs, Community Chest, Red Cross, Exceptional Children's Foundation, the YWCA, UMCA, and the City of Hope were a few of the many charities that shared in the profits distributed by the participating Lions clubs. With more money coming in, Mickey Thompson was able to increase prize money, which began with a $25 bond that went up to a $1,000 bond for top eliminator. Thompson replaced the flag-waving starter with the 3-light Christmas tree starting light system. Thompson managed the track until 1965. C.J. Hart along with his wife Peggy were then hired to take over the management of Lions Drag Strip. With Lions Drag Strip being one of the premier facilities in the country, Hart brought in an 8-car field in top fuel, top gas, fuel-altered, competition, gas, jet car and wheel standers. The late 60s were not good years for the track, with old-school manager C.J. Hart uncertain of how to deal with the new funny cars and running the same top fuel show every weekend. Attendance started to decline. Hart had problems with both the Lions Club Board of Directors and the Harbor Commission due to noise complaints from the increasing population surrounding the track. He wanted to continue his top fuel show where the Lions Club and the Harbor Commission wanted him to scale it back. He resigned in 1971. Steve Evans was then hired to manage the Lions Drag Strip. With the facility showing its age, Evans had it completely renovated, which I'm sure meant there was a lot of new Lions gold paint. Evans then went to NHRA and had them sanction the track for the Lions Grand Premiere event in January 1972. The Grand Premiere was one of the track's most successful events. There were 4 new NHRA national records set at the event. 1972 became the drag strip's most successful and most profitable year in its history. On November 2, 1972, the Harbor Commission exercised its 30-day notice citing noise complaints from the surrounding area, which many thought and still do that it was just a ploy to take back the property for more profitable uses. The last race took place on December 2, 1972. According to people that were there after the last run, spectators and employees alike began tearing apart signs, lane markers, and anything they could for a last souvenir of the facility. The track location remained abandoned for over 10 years until the track was torn down through the efforts of the Los Angeles Harbor Department to make space for overseas shipping cargo containers, which exists to this day. Since there is no way to put 17+ years of Lions history into a short video, I would like to present just some of the cars, people, movies and TV shows that were associated with the famous track. Here is Mickey Thompson, the first Lions manager at the track. Without him the track may not have lasted as long as it did. He did more for the sport than people give him credit for. He is probably one of the most underrated people in motorsports history. The television series The Munsters filmed most of the episode A Hot Rod Herman at Lions Drag Strip. It aired on May 27, 1965. The TV series Adam 12 filmed the episode Who Won, which aired March 1, 1972. American Bandstand's Dick Clark portrays Mr. Benson, the track's owner. The episode was based on preventing street racing. There were so many cars, famous and not so famous, that ran at Lions over their 17-year history, I could probably make 20 videos showing them. Here are some Willys that ran at Lions. Willys are my personal favorite. There were so many that ran over the years you would think there would still be quite a few around, but it's almost impossible to find an original one. You have to wonder where they all went. Here is the Lions' second track manager, CJ Hart. I really envy people that lived by the track back in those days. I would have been there all the time. Here is Hart with Don Prudhomme. In the 1967 film It's a Bikini World, some of the race scenes took place at Lions Drag Strip. It was definitely a 60s drive-in movie. Here is Jocko Johnson's The Jocko Porting Service Special. From what I read, the Streamliner ran an 8.35 at 178 miles per hour with Jim Nelson driving. It was later sold to Dean Moon and run under the name Moonliner. I'm sure if you were to ask Don Garlitz to list his favorite drag strips, I don't think Lions would be at the top of the list. On March 8, 1970, Garlitz was driving Swamp Rat 13 when the transmission exploded, tearing the car in half. It's hard to imagine the force that car endured. Garlitz lost a piece of his right foot and was out for the rest of the season. Here is Wild Bill Shrewsbury in his LA Dart. This is Chuck Poole's Chuckwagon. I thought I would show some Lions flyers, 14 funny cars running 3 times each in one night. Good luck finding that anywhere today. It's interesting to see the prize money. Top fuel winner takes $3,000 home, then paying down to $100, and that is out of a 32-car field. Can you imagine 32 top fuel dragsters showing up for an event? Today, NHRA has a tough time just getting 16 dragsters to show up for a national event. Southern California was definitely the place to be back then. Here is Gene Conway's Destroyer Jeep. This is Sheldon Kornblatt's Jaguar XK, funny car with its pearl pink and rose lace paint. I'm not quite sure who she is, but I would really like to talk to her about giving up that Lions poster to me. This is the Piranha. I read where its best time was 8.08 at 193 miles per hour. It is now in Don Garlitz's museum. This is Pat Foster in the Beach City Corvette. Here is Doug Nash's Bronco Buster. Paula Murphy's 1966 Mustang funny car, powered by a 392 Hemi. This is Steve Corney's Goldfinger, a 1948 Ford Anglia. You really got to love that gold paint. Here is Dee Keaton's Cougar, a 1967 Mercury Cougar. Bob Hankins in the Blue Blazer. Question Mark and the Mysterians at Lions. I have to admit I had to look them up, and I checked out their greatest hits on YouTube. Their big hit was called 96 Tears. We don't want to forget there was motorcycle racing at Lions. The Zeller brothers' 1933 Willys Ambition. Sox and Martin Hemikuda. Hayden Prophet's Corvair. Batmobile at Lions with the flames shooting out the back. Here is Frank Pedregon. I'm not sure who she is. If anyone knows, please comment below. From what I understand, there was an attempt to save Lions, but with just a 30-day notice and mounting political pressure, they had no chance. In closing, it was a sad ending for Lions that is playing out for many drag strips across the country today. I lived in South Florida for years and watched the Miami Hollywood Motorsports Park shut down and then houses built on the site. Then I watched Palm Beach International close in 2022 with the property to be developed. What is the answer? Please feel free to comment below. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe. As always, thanks for watching.